Hey guys, welcome to our second video on strategies to deal with relapse, which happens to all of us. We all fall off the wagon sometimes. The key is, and you can probably quote some famous movie about that, it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get back up. It doesn't matter if you fall off the wagon, we all do. The important thing is that you keep going, you keep trying, you keep figuring things out. So here's 5 more strategies that hopefully can help you in that process. First though, I want to mention one of our earlier videos called The Power of Habit, which is a great book that I read that talks about how to change habits, different skills you can use. Go watch that video. It's got some useful stuff in there. Our first strategy we're going to talk today about is being proactive versus reactive. So what does this mean? One example might be, I'm kind of a friendly guy. I'll walk around and say hi to people. Sometimes people respond, sometimes they don't. And so when I go wave to somebody and say, hey, how you doing? And they just keep their head down, or they got their headphones in, or they just don't care, I can take that 2 ways. I can think, boy, that person is mean, and therefore I'm going to be affected by that, and my day's going to be bad now because that person was not nice to me. Or I can realize that person did something, but they don't control me. I don't have to react to them. I can be in favor. Proactive means being in favor of action, and so I can decide I'm going to live my day the way I want it to be. So why is that important in our behavior change process? Because there are going to be people that have different goals than us, and you're going to say, hey, it really isn't along with the goals that I have to eat this huge blizzard. Is that okay with you? I'm just going to have some ice water and we can have a great time together. And that person can get mad, and that can say, okay, fine, I'm going to throw my goal away because that person was mad at me, and I'm going to have 3 blizzards instead because that's what my friend wants me to do. And maybe that's a crazy example. I don't know. You can come up with your own. But there's going to be environmental things, other people, other situation you deal with that are going to go against the vision that you have. And you can choose to react and have your vision and the way you live your life affected by that, or you can choose to still love and be nice and respect other people, but realize that you have a plan and I'm going to act and try to follow the things that I want to do the best that I can, and not let what other people or other situations are around me affect accomplishing my vision. Okay? Second thought is implementation intentions. And you're thinking, wow, that's a really long fancy word, and it kind of is, but really all that is how do we implement our intentions? So what does that really mean? We all have good intentions to do things. Everybody does. The problem is what happens when they don't go into effect. We all intend to do a lot of great things, but lots of people end up just being mediocre, and they don't actually do what they intend to do. So what's one strategy to deal with that? How you actually make that happen? The way it works out is kind of an if-then strategy. So you anticipate some of the roadblocks that might come where you might have a relapse, and you create a strategy to implement your intentions. So let's say you're running a marathon, and you know, because you've been training for it hopefully, that getting to mile 13, somewhere about halfway, and you just start to tank. You just start falling apart. And so what you might do here, your intention is to finish that marathon. You want to do that. That's your vision. So you'll say, you know what, I've been practicing with these little honey packets. And so for me, if at mile 13 I feel like I want to just stop and give up, then I'm going to give myself a little honey packet. And maybe it's not a honey packet. Maybe it's, if at mile 13 I feel like my legs are just falling off, then my intention is to finish. Then I'm going to look at the person in front of me and watch their legs and think, those are my legs, and let them run the race for you. Or if at mile 13 I'm about to give up, I'm going to put on my favorite song, and that's going to motivate me to push through that pain. And so my friend Rob, he told me one of his implementation intentions, and he said if he gets in a hard spot where he's struggling to complete his exercise program, his is, if it gets hard, then I put in some smooth jazz or some boy band music. I mean, that's just his thing that works for him. I personally don't choose that, but it's just what he likes, and it's what motivates him. Crazy guy, I know. So create an if-then strategy. Anticipate a roadblock and create a then, here's what I'm going to do to deal with that. And even if that doesn't happen, even if it doesn't work the way you're thinking to, at least it brings it to your mind. It brings something, some strategy to your mind that can hopefully help you eventually get it to work for you. So if then, implement those intentions that you have. Okay, next. Emotions. Our emotions are good and they have a purpose, but sometimes we don't understand the purpose of those. So when you have a relapse and you get angry or you feel like you failed, you get sad, you get depressed, think about what that means. If you get angry or depressed or sad when you fail at something or not getting to where you want to go, and all these positive thoughts you're writing down at night, it's just not working, it's a bad day, think about those emotions. Why would you be getting depressed or angry about it? It's actually a good thing. Why? Because it shows that that vision you have is important to you. If you didn't get upset, or if you didn't get a little bit sad or depressed about it, well then obviously you didn't care too much about that vision. So understand that your emotions are just telling you something. They're telling you that that goal that you had, that vision you have is important. And that's a good thing. You don't need to sit and sulk about failing. Go through the process, use some of these and deal with it and move on. But realize that when you have a sad or a depressed moment that you're not getting where you want to be, that's important because you're realizing that I actually want to achieve this. And that's a good thing. So your emotions are telling you that it's important to you. That's a good thing. Next, self-talk. So self-talk, if you don't talk to yourself, then you're not going to be successful. Just kidding. So self-talk is the way you talk to yourself. So think about this. If you were you're going up a hill with a friend. You got a steep hill and you're both on a run. What would you say to that person when that person starts to get tired and they're saying, oh, I just don't know if I can make it to the top of this thing. I've got to stop and walk. What would you say to that person? If you're a good friend, hopefully you're not like shouting swear words at them or kicking him at the knees or something like that. Hopefully, if you're a good friend, you're saying, come on, keep it going. Push through it. Come on, you got this. They're lifting weights. They're about to bench their max. You know, they're setting a new PR. What are you saying to them? Man, it's too bad. It doesn't look like you're going to get it. What are you saying? You're saying, come on, push. You can do this. If you say that to other people, what do you say to yourself when you're in that same situation? Are you saying negative stuff? Man, I don't think I can do this. Or man, this is too hard. It works the exact same way. What you would say to someone else, that affects them the same way as if you would say it to yourself. So when you're running up that hill, when you're going through a relapse, you wouldn't berate your friend and tell him you're failing. You'd say, keep going. You'd talk to yourself positively just like you'd talk to someone else positively. It's a very important concept because what you reinforce with yourself is going to be eventually your thought pattern. It'll be easier to think that way next time if you've practiced it, for good or for bad. So practice positive self-talk. When it's a tough time, when it's a nervous moment about to give a speech, don't say over in your mind again, man, I think I'm going to fall over and faint and do a terrible job. Talk to yourself like you'd talk to somebody else and build them up, and you'll find that you can perform better. Okay, and the last thing is keep it simple. So much complicated stuff out there, so many fancy strategies. At the end of the day, don't try to make this too much. Don't try to I'm going to have a special protein shake after the third set of the fifth rep of every workout, and then have some other fancy supplement 2.5 sets after that, that just starts to be so complicated that your weight loss program and your getting better grades program is just too much to deal with, and you give up. Just make it simple. That's a simple strategy, but it really works. At the end of the day, the simpler it is, it'll be more likely to last if you can just keep things simple. Guys, I hope this has been useful. Think about these strategies, think about the different steps, practice them, use them over and over. Have fun in this process. If you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. Changing should be exciting for you to reach some new potential, reach new heights in your life. It's a great opportunity to be living here on this great earth. So take advantage of every opportunity, and you'll be doing stuff far beyond what you ever believed you could do. So have fun. We'll see you next time.